Traders Live podcast.
All right, good morning, Marto. How are you?
Morning, Chokes. Good, mate. How you going?
That's the way. Yeah, good, mate. Good. Just thought we'd get into our trader bite for the 23rd of the 11th. It's a Thursday here for us in Australia. Just having a look at what we had come across our screens overnight. The S&P obviously finishing up 22 points overnight. Was there anything that sort of grabbed your attention or took your fancy within that session at all?
Pretty standard kind of procedure, mate, to be honest, with the S&P leading
Yep.
into a holiday. So obviously had that nice big spike, but we never went below that first hour of the Euro Open, which I guess if you kind of look at past moves, if I've got it here, when the Aussies when we kind of meander through the day coming into a US holiday, it's a fairly kind of bullish outcome most of the time. And you can see like the top, 4 out of the top 5 rallies. This is us yesterday or overnight on the S&P, all bottom in that first hour. So pretty much the plan in terms of kind of price moves historically, what happens leading into a holiday.
Yep. So obviously tonight's session in the US is closed. They have Thanksgiving over there. So it's going to be, I guess, am I assuming another quiet session for Australia today?
I'd assume so, mate. There's a couple of little outliers. I've got it here somewhere. So we've got a few outliers there, but there's no kind of clear trend or direction from my point of view today. So it's probably a good time to sit back and kind of play any action as it happens in terms of if we get any wild moves, obviously react to that and adapt to that. But in terms of just from the outset, mate, might be a good time to take a bit of a holiday with the Yanks.
Yep. And I guess given it's a Thursday, that might be expected to continue into Friday, but I guess we'll see just what Australia brings today as well as the Euro session. And I mean, from you, is when you see these sort of meander days consecutively in a row, do you sort of try and trade the same range, or are there different ranges that appear on any given day?
Mate, I'm probably more of the opinion to sit back and not kind of chew up too much capital until we get a bit of volatility.
Yep.
So kind of play around the edges, I suppose. I mean, if it as I said, if we get any large moves, probably would prefer to look at playing them back to the mean as opposed to kind of jumping on the train to make any kind of 40-point moves. So probably best to kind of wait for that volatility to come back, which we might get maybe on Friday when the US reopens, and then and go with that.
Yep. Yeah, no, good. So I think I read this morning in your stack that you're sort of expecting the current Australia overnight futures prices is pricing in a 17 points drop. We might see that come in a little bit, I'm guessing, closer to open, but yeah, it's going to be fairly stock standard day for us. Another ripper day of excitement on the Australian market.
Yeah, mate. I'd say with overnight moves, just as a very, very kind of general rule, if the overnight move is probably less than 10 points, I'd, as a very general rule, lean short. Just seems to kind of, in terms of the stats, that's probably the way that if you've got no view, that's probably the way that you'd go. But we'll see what happens.
Yep. And does that work on the other way as well when you're sort of seeing a move greater than, or sort of a move down that's larger than a certain amount of points? Is there any sort of opposite on that in terms of a long thesis, or that's getting into
in terms of we opened,
getting into the weeds a bit?
70 points lower or something like that, like a extreme move, you mean? Or
Yes. Yep. Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of where you just need to wait and kind of see which way it breaks when you're getting that kind of kind of a move. But you obviously get some snapbacks and then some will fall heavily and then kind of recover later in day. That's kind of the two options generally with that.
Yep. And just for our audience, we have the US Thanksgiving holiday that we've spoken about tonight, so no US session. And then in terms of the economic calendar today, we have about sort of 9 p.m. daylight savings time, 8 p.m. standard time. We have Europe sort of giving out a whole heap of services and manufacturing PMI, which could see a little bit of a move on the intraday, but don't expect anything too crazy. Is the sort of note I would leave for that. But yeah, I think that's us for this morning.
Great. Thanks, Chert.
Awesome.
Enjoy the turkey, mate.
See you tomorrow, mate.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, we'll do. You too.